Thank you for signing up for the 7 silent morning habits. Since you didn't make it, I wanted to be able to give you just a review of the things that we went over because you did express interest. And I do realize that attorneys, a lot of times things come up and you're not able to make it. So let's just talk about, first of all, what is cortisol? And cortisol is like a built-in alarm system that our body uses to help us to rise, but not to run. But when we have stressing and rushing and our mornings are filled with panic and pressure and worry, then our body gets hooked on receiving this rush of chemicals, which when we have those emotions or we do those actions, will start to rush into our system. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone and it really alerts you to danger. And it's like for you to run if a bear is chasing you. You know, most of us, a bear is not a bear chasing us in the morning. What's going on is that we're worried, we're rushing, didn't get a lot of sleep. We are maybe hungover or we're having all these feelings. And so this rush of cortisol now weakens your immune system. It hijacks your focus and messes with your productivity, with your memory. And by the time you actually get to the office, you've already had a day. So cortisol is this stress chemical, and it's made by our bodies, by our thoughts, by our emotions, and by things that happen. And we feel like it's in control of us rather than we're in control of it. But the purpose of this is to show you that you can be in control of your body chemistry. And it just takes some awareness, and it takes you to be in charge of your thoughts and your feelings, because the cortisol was made in your body to keep you sharp, keep you strong, and keep you able to respond to emergencies and danger. When you allow the cortisol to run the show, what happens is that you start to feel foggy, you're tired, you're irritable, and you're overwhelmed. And if you start that enough days in what's called chronic stress, then that'll be happening every day. So the biggest problem is most people don't really realize what's going on. They're just in this high stress condition. They think this is how it is. It's based on outside situation, outside circumstances, the firm, the client, the work, the depression, whatever. So we are actually partners with the spike with our cortisol. Now, are we doing this on purpose? No. And it's not because we're weak? No, but it's a habit. That's the thing. And habits can be broken as long as you know that it is a habit. If a person was smoking cigarettes and they thought that they had nothing to do with it and there was nothing they could do about it, that this was a habit, then they would not take the actions to stop smoking if that's indeed what they want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you 7 silent habits that you may be making in the morning and let you grade yourself. You know, this is a self-inventory, self-reflection. We'll give you a score, and then you write down whether or not this applies to you, and then you can add it up at the end and see whether or not this applies to you. So the first thing is if you get a bad sleep and a bad start. So if you stayed up late, or you're watching a violent picture, or you're watching the news, or anything that keeps your emotions elevated, then you're setting yourself up for insomnia at night. You're not having a good rest. You have not brought your body chemistry down so that you could have a good rest. You're scrolling. You have your phone next to the bed. You're checking your phone all night. What happens is you toss and you turn, and that was how you started your day. There was a partner that I coached, and he was having the situation where he was only sleeping 4 hours a night, and he bragged about it. And I remember I used to be, all I need is 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And it's not a good formula. Of course, I was a lot younger then, but we do not want to get that amount of sleep. But anyway, this partner, we'll call him Roger, was doing that. He was checking his phone all night. He'd get up, he was doing things, he couldn't sleep. And he says, I don't even need to sleep. I need espresso. When he came into the office in the morning, he said they couldn't talk to him until noon. He was not in any shape to do anything until noon. So you can imagine all that time and all that productivity that was lost because of his habit of not getting sleep. So let me ask you, get your sheet of paper and your pen. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Do you sleep less than 6 hours, or do you wake up multiple times during the night? If you do, write 1. And if you don't, write 0. Number 2 is habit is wake up worried. So, you open your eyes and your eyes are darting around and you're thinking about, you're not even there in your bed. You're not even there in your body. You're thinking about all these things that you're worried about. Money, deadlines, family member, what someone said to you, someone who you think is an adversary, like all of those things, all your problems, your brain is going on and on about this. You're not even in the bed this morning. So that's what we call stress before sunrise. So if you feel anxious and heavy and feel like the first 10 minutes of the morning are robbed from you because you are in a stressed and worried state, be honest, put 1 if it's yes. Okay, number 3 is holding your breath. You're saying, what does holding my breath have to do with it? First of all, if you just notice yourself in your body right now, are you breathing? Most of us aren't breathing. We don't even know we're not breathing. We just are habitually, we don't breathe, and we don't breathe, and then we take a short breath and we keep going, just enough in our lungs just to keep us going. Well, that's a recipe for stress. So your shoulders are arched up. You're worried, you're concerned, your body is in a hypersensitive mode. Perfect breeding ground for cortisol. Your jaw is tight, your teeth are clenched, and you're breathing very shallow. Let me just tell you this. Let's just take a 1-minute test here. Just 60 seconds, that's all. So I want you to breathe in, hold it for 5, and then exhale 10. And let's just see, just a little experiment. So we'll breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do a second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And one more time, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many of you feel more relaxed, less stressed? So just think about that. If you did this before a depot or before you went into trial or court or meeting with a client, took that 1 minute or 90 seconds to just breathe, that will make a world of difference. There was an attorney that I worked with, and he said, oh my God, I just work better under pressure all the time. But he always had these migraine headaches. And he just thought, well, I just have these migraine headaches. But, I asked him, I said, let's try this breathing exercise. And he started trying this breathing exercise several times during the day. And over a 2-week period, his headaches began to lessen and actually disappear. So a lot of times, things that are happening to our bodies are a result to a buildup of chronic stress over and over again. So if you we're doing the score now, if you were having the shallow breath, clenched muscles of any kind, if you were doing it, say 1 for yes, 0 if it was no. Now, the next one is number 4, which is snooze or sprint. So that means either you hit the snooze alarm or the alarm goes off and then you jump out of bed. Either one is the same thing in a different way. One is doing one thing, one's doing another, but it is allowing you to feel stressed in the morning. So first of all, do you have an alarm? Usually a lot of people use their phone for their alarm, or they might have a clock that has a like this loud thing that happens, and then you're like, oh, you wake up like that. Cortisol, cortisol. Or if the alarm goes off and then you jump out of bed. So if you're doing either one of those, you are inviting having a cortisol party. So you want to pause when you wake up, put your feet on the ground, and give yourself about 5 minutes. Ideally, for me, if I wake up before my alarm, I feel so much better. I feel so much more relaxed as I start my day. So 5 minutes, sit up on the side of the bed, put your feet on the ground, and you could do the breathing, or you could have some soft music. You could have your headphones handy. You can have some affirmations. You can have meditations. YouTube has all sorts of things that they make available for you that can make a world of difference. Just that 5 minutes will pay so much in dividends later on in the day. So one client says that they felt like their mornings were like a fire drill. She'd hit the snooze, she'd hit the snooze, she'd hit the snooze until she couldn't anymore. Now it's a race. And so now there's coffee, traffic rage. So by 8:45, she was a mess and she had burned up all her calm. So your body can't find peace in the morning if you start off with survival. So the question here is, do you start off your day with either delay or frenzy? There's 1 if yes and 0 if no. Number 5, coffee first, never water. Now, obviously coffee is a stimulant. Cortisol is a stimulant. So if you're like running on these chemicals, then you're out of control and it is in control of you. So if you get up in the morning and the first thing you have to do is you have to drink coffee, no food, no water, then you're just taking a blend of the cortisol and caffeine. So what's another way? Well, you could have bottled water. You can have water first thing in the day, and then you can have a piece of fruit, and then you could drink your coffee. And then you'll have a kind of a leveling out of your chemical system. So number 1, if you just depend on cortisol and coffee to start your day, or 0 if you start your day with water and or fruit. All right, now number 6, if you have a family and you have children and you have a spouse arguing in the morning or being irritable or grumpy in the morning or having tenseness in the house in the morning, is a perfect way that you can start your day off with a lot of cortisol. So you have your children could be yelling, hurry up, or you're not speaking to your spouse for several days at a time. You have all this, there's this tension in the house, and your might have sharp words, or maybe if you're not even having sharp words, you're like glaring at each other or just feeling annoyed. Now you're just turning on the thing in your body that signals danger, hit cortisol. One father told me that every morning he felt like he was in a war zone because it was like the kids rushing off and the spouse and his wife and everybody's rushing off and everybody's angry and everyone is starting their day and it is not starting their day the way they want to. So here's your test for number 6. Was there tension or conflict in your home in this morning or any mornings? Is this something that's a common occurrence? 1, if it is yes, and 0, if it's no. And our last one is the chaotic commute. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to start your day the night before, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But if you wake up with no prep the night before, you're foggy this morning, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing today, you go into the office, you're hit with emails or social media or internet or interruptions or phone calls, and you have no charge of your day. You're just being flung around your day without really completing the task that you have deadlines. And if you're driving there and now you're in a rush, you're yelling at red lights, people are going too slow in front of you. Every time you have a bit of rage, then you're having road rage, right? So guess what? That's cortisol. Just let's look at your score. So if you add them up, 0 to 1 points, very good. Your body is probably staying pretty well balanced in the morning. If you have 2 to 4 points, I'm going to say caution. Cortisol is creeping in and you're operating with tension. If you have 5 to 7 points, you're in a red zone. So your system is screaming for relief and you want to find this is not a weakness, but it's a signal that you need to change something. We have to look at it this way, is that this happens, this is our life. So it's like this is going to happen tomorrow, the day after, week after, the week after, the month after, the year after, and then people wonder why they have cancer or they have chronic health problems or why they age because they're not regulating their body. So the truth is, this isn't about disciplining, having more discipline. It's not about being wrong. It's not about being motivation. It's just recognizing that these are habits that control your body. Your biology is not broken. You're just overwhelmed. I always say to all of my clients, acknowledgement or awareness is 50% of the battle. You are needing and ready for a reset. That's all. You just need to give yourself a reset. So let's talk about a few things that you can do to reset your cortisol level. The first thing is you want to design tomorrow, tonight. I always talk to my clients and I say, look, before you leave the office, while things are still fresh, just make a list of the things you want to do tomorrow when you come into the office. Don't wait till the next day and then you're wondering what you're supposed to do or responding to things that are in your calendar. When you take the pen to paper and you look at what your day is, it really gives you a reset. You know what to do and put it in a prominent place when you come in the office next day and you know what to do first thing. Don't go to email first because you'll never get out of that whirl of the internet, the news, the clients, the phone calls, and you won't get your work done. And then now it's late at night. You're working late because you didn't get the things that you wanted done. I have a course that shows you how to get your heavy lifting done by 2 o'clock. So if you are interested in that, put in the DMs, say 2 o'clock. And I will make that available for you. So the first thing is you want to design tomorrow, tonight. So that means decide what you want to do tomorrow, the next day before you leave the office. And then when you get home, have your dinner or whatever it is that you have to relax. And then set your clothes out the night before. So in the morning, you don't have to like rummage through the closet. What should I put on? Have your clothes ready. Have your briefcase or whatever right by the door in your car so that you just have the seamless way of going in. And then when you go in, you know exactly what you're going to do. And that is going to set you up to be calm and productive. The next thing is you want to wake up like a human and not an alarm. If you have any blaring buzzers or whatever, find calm music or something. You can use your iPhone or whatever. When you wake up to some light, calm music or a meditation or do some deep breathing, just give yourself a break. Bonus is if you can go for a walk or something like that first thing in the morning. I always get up in the morning. I try to go for a walk. After the walk, I go to Pilates every day. And that's really not negotiable for me. So you're not a machine. So take care of this flesh and blood because what you do for and to your body affect you for the rest of your life. The third thing is fuel right and feel right. Get your body prepared. Drink some water first thing in the morning before you drink your coffee. Start with a piece of fruit or protein, just something in your stomach, just to give your body. What you're doing is you may not be hungry, but you're regulating your system. Your brain runs more on rhythm and taking care of your body as opposed to rushing, because rushing will give you the rush chemicals. There's something they used to call rush sickness, and that is you were such in a habit to rush that everything you did was a rush. Now, the last thing is you want to connect before you click. Be kind to your family. First of all, connect. This is how you connect. A lot of times people, they wake up in the morning and they're arguing. And I forgot to mention this earlier. They say, well, I live by myself, or I don't argue, or my wife is gone, or my husband's gone. Sometimes you just argue with yourself. You go in the bathroom, you look at yourself, you say, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too this, you're too that, you're late, you did this, you did that, you're getting too old, you have wrinkles. So you're arguing with yourself. cortisol overload, and it's just you, yourself, and I. You're just doing that for yourself. So you want to be kind to yourself, first of all, then be kind to your family. I don't know if you know it, but just holding a smile gives your body the good chemicals like oxytocin. You hold a smile. Say, I don't feel like smiling. Just smile. Just that smile. You can feel the chemicals coming in your body because it's signaling your body that you're relaxed, that you're oxytocin, and I'm in love. If you want to really have a bonus for oxytocin in the morning, look at yourself in the eyes first thing in the morning instead of grumbling about all the things you don't like about yourself, to say, I love and accept you just as you are. If you just do that a few times, you will feel the oxytocin coming down to combat the cortisol. So stop being a bully to yourself in the morning. Presence is practice. Your cortisol is going to thank you when you do these things for yourself. Remember, you want to just start little by little, one thing at a time. And you're not here by accident. You didn't click on this by accident. You clicked on here because you know that you're not built for panic. You were built for presence. You want to land. We also have, for you to reset, a mastermind. If you're interested in that, write mastermind. If you want the 2 o'clock, which is a free resource we'll give you the mini course, which you will see how you can start to finish your work at 2 o'clock. We're glad that you were here. Sorry that you didn't make the event, but I hope that this will help you and will make you feel better about what you do each and every day. Let's reset. And the cortisol code is overcoming the cortisol code and being your best self so that you can have a productive, profitable, and enjoyable law practice.